Hi, I'm Deepak from 91 Mobiles, and today I'm going to be talking about the OPPO K series, specifically the OPPO K13. I think it's a very well-rounded device in terms of the specifications. The pricing is really aggressive. We've tested the device, we've reviewed it, and I think it delivers on most counts. From 91 Mobile's perspective, it's actually a pretty solid device. It's among the top phones in our best phones list for the sub 20,000 price segment. So today, the idea is to have a short but hopefully interesting conversation with the team at OPPO and Qualcomm to figure out what the strategy behind the K series is, how the K13 has been received, how it is selling, and the chipset that powers the device. And I have with me a panel. So there's Savio D'Souza, who's the head of product communications at OPPO India, Saurabh Arora, the business head for mobile, compute and XR at Qualcomm India, and Anshuman Bhatt, the head of e-commerce at OPPO India. Savio, my first question is to you. Let's talk about the key USPs of this device.
When we started with the K series, right, one of the cornerstones that we actually based this device on was basically making AI available to everyone. We announced that last year, and we are carrying forward that plan, right? We wanted AI to be available on all devices. On the other hand, OPPO is always known for well-designed devices, so we did not want to compromise on basically how the device really looked. But at the same time, we wanted to pack it with technologies that people can actually use and enjoy, right? So for us, for instance, what we found out is a lot of consumers, right, they need battery, and they need a formidable battery. So that was one of the big engineering challenges where we said, we want to load this with a 7000 mAh battery. Not just that, put 80 watt charging onto it. Because what happens is if you actually, many customers we found, once they leave their homes in the morning, like students and stuff, they don't have the time to charge the devices again. So that battery needs to last through the entire day. What we also found is a lot of people love gaming, casual gaming, right? While they're commuting, probably watching videos and things like this. So we had to make sure that if just in case the battery actually ran low, which will not happen, we have 80 watt charging, which means if you get access to a charging port even for 5 minutes, you juice up your phone. So a 30-minute charge will actually take this up to 62%. So that was one of the things. And of course, since we were looking at, people using use cases about playing games, watching videos, right, OTT platforms, we decided that it had to have like an AMOLED screen. Yeah. So these were the things that we decided, and these are just some of the things that have actually we've packed into the device.
I mean, absolutely doesn't look like it has a 7000 mAh battery. So it's so slim.
Yeah, when I had first looks of this, right, I was like, okay, this really looks good. Yeah. And the specs basically just add that extra heft to it.
So we'll get into some of the more real-world use cases in a minute, but I want to address Anshuman. So Anshuman, as OPPO's e-commerce head, you're one of the key people responsible for making sure this device reaches the farthest corners of the country. So how are users responding to the K13? That's one of my questions. And also, have you observed any interesting trends or insights from the community around this device?
The response has been extremely encouraging for us, and it has reaffirmed our belief of putting a consumer at the heart of everything we do. For us, a consumer study is not a one-time thing, but it is actually a continuous multi-layered process where we try to understand the pain points and needs of a consumer. We did this through an outreach in digital communities, in offline markets, in a lot of other places, where we saw a clear gap in the under 20,000 segment, where a consumer was looking for good performance, long-lasting battery, smooth gaming and rapid charging. And this is what formed the basis of OPPO K13. And we've seen a lot of good chatter about OPPO K13 on platforms like 91 Mobiles and even Flipkart for that matter. And I think about other interesting insights, we've seen a lot of interest in young tech-savvy audiences, especially from tier 2 and below market. And they've really appreciated our product, making us believe that we've been able to strike the right chord with our target audience.
Saurabh, now the Snapdragon 6 Gen 4, the chipset that powers the OPPO K13, we'll get into the capabilities of that chipset in a minute. But before we do, I wanted to ask you about your partnership with OPPO.
Look, Deepak, we have a long-standing partnership with OPPO, not only in India, even globally. Both the companies have a kind of a shared vision. What we at Qualcomm believe is democratizing the tech what we develop. And if you look at Oppo's vision is bringing intelligence to everyone, right? End of the day, that product which Oppo will come have a Qualcomm tech creating a right product fit for the market.
So coming back to Savio, so in terms of when we talk about the differentiation factor for the OPPO K13 and some real world use cases, you talked about the 7000 mAh battery,
Right.
the fast charging, and those things have some very clear use cases,
Right.
in terms of the real world benefits that users can expect. What more?
So, like I spoke about earlier, right? I spoke about AI, and this is something that you really don't know you need it till you actually start using it, right? And so, for example, in a sub 20,000 phone, we decided to make features like AI Writer, which helps you write. Now, imagine the use cases for a student or someone who's actually out and needs to do that kind of stuff on the go, right? Writing emails, for instance, you have AI Writer, you have AI Summary, and these are many of the tools that I actually use myself on a regular basis, and they're practically indispensable to me right now. So there's a lot of AI features, and that's basically only when it comes to productivity. But when we're talking about photography, which as Indians we love clicking pictures, right? I mean, the first thing that we do whenever we go someplace, and I do that, I'm guilty of it myself, I take out my phone and I start clicking pictures, right? So we have a 50 megapixel camera, but what it's backed by is a lot of AI algorithms that make pictures look, pop, much more clearer, right? So we have partners, basically, Google with Gemini and stuff. So you have Circle to search. So those are very real value adds to people, right? So this is no longer just a small little communicator. This is going to help you get so much more done. And for us, it's also very important because for many people, right, this is probably the one device that is personal and that they use everywhere. So we need to pack everything that you needed in it. So if you decided that I like binge watching, you have a 7000 mAh battery, you have an AMOLED screen that lets you watch your Prime videos, your Netflix and stuff like that, right? You need power on the go. So we had this thing about nomophobia where people are afraid that their batteries run out, right? You've got a 7000 mAh battery. And you talk about the technologies and the engineering that we've done on this. I remember about 2016 when there was a 6000 mAh battery, that phone was really thick and heavy. And now we have a 7000 with 80 watt charging. So yes, it's actually just merging design style with a lot of stuff, with basically real, use case, solutions. So yeah, that's what we wanted to put into this device. AI definitely for me is a real, it's a real differentiator for me. Yeah, right.
No, it's interesting you spoke about AI because I think till some time ago AI used to be reserved for the premium phones, and now brands like Oppo and Qualcomm are bringing those experiences down to the masses, really, right? And that's, I think, for me, the K13 really stands out for that.
Yeah. So when we talk about AI, right, like India is going to have, we have one of the largest growing workforces, right? And we will have basically, I mean, what better way than to get AI into a very young audience's hand so that they're well prepared for basically whatever comes their way later on. So, and I'd like to add, right, I spoke about gaming, and one of the things that make your phone last longer and play better is basically VC cooling. So we have actually added one of the largest VC cooling components over there to make sure it's comfortable to hold no matter how long you're playing games or watching videos. So yeah, we've looked at stuff that people asked for and we've put this into this device.
Anshuman, my next question is to you. So I'm told that the OPPO K13 actually sold out very quickly on Flipkart when it went on sale. So what do you think drove this demand?
At OPPO India, we believed in co-creating a solution with the consumers. For OPPO K13, it was meant for digitally native consumers looking for performance and looking for reliability and efficiency. Yes, OPPO K13 sold out within hours of it going live, and it is one of the top selling products in the segment on Flipkart right now. So we are very happy about it, and this was done because of an insight-led marketing and product approach that we managed. About OPPO e-commerce, it's a very important function for OPPO India going forward, and K series is going to be instrumental in driving that growth.
And how do you plan to keep the momentum going? I think that's crucial for this.
By getting more and more K series and emphasizing on e-commerce.
Okay, I'll get back to you on that. I have a question on that, Anshuman. But Saurabh, let's talk about the chipset. The Snapdragon 6 Gen 4. Let's talk about the capabilities of this chipset.
As you know, this is the latest chipset in 600 tier, recently announced, and OPPO is one of the first ones to bring the devices in India. A lot of enhancements. We are bringing the premium features down to 600 tier, bringing it to the masses. As I said, we believe in democratizing the tech. So if I talk about, the premium features this chipset has, it's based on a 4 nanometer. That's the latest tech node, right, to give you a better efficiency. It has latest CPU architecture as well, and then gaming, right? I mean, gaming, as Savio said, right, a lot of stress, focus is on gaming. We have for the first time brought Snapdragon elite gaming features, selected features down to 600 tier, like game super resolution, right? When you are playing a game, it will enhance your resolution up to 4K without impacting your battery life. That's one of the coolest features what we have in elite gaming feature pack we have brought to 6 Gen 4. So if I talk about connectivity, it has a ultra fast 5G connectivity, latest Wi-Fi connectivity, right, supporting up to 6E, Wi-Fi 6E. So overall, bringing premium features down to a tier where masses want to experience.
Solid. So I think performance, cameras, AI, battery, fast charging, I think that basically ticks all the boxes.
VC cooling.
VC cooling, yes. So Savio, K13 delivers so much at a very aggressive price point. So what is the broader market strategy for the K series?
So OPPO India, right, we are predominantly a brick and mortar brand because we have one of the largest networks of basically, retail outlets. The K series, and like we said, we wanted to get our technologies out to as many people as possible. And one of the things was, one of the channels that we wanted to do through, of course, is e-commerce. So the K series actually gives OPPO India that opportunity to reach out to audiences that who are actually buying online. It also sends out a very clear message that OPPO is capable of being creating very aggressive devices, and devices that actually meet a very articulated need of consumers, right? So for all of these things, right, K series is very important to us, keeping in mind what we wanted to offer and trying to reach as many people as possible.
So I'm getting basically into the last section here. So how does the Snapdragon 6 Gen 4 compare to competing chipsets in the same price?
Look, in this price segment, right, if I talk about, because it's the latest in the 600 tier for us, the CPU performance of 6 Gen 4 is 11% higher or better than previous generation. A lot of stress on gaming performance. We take it to 29% better performance with respect to our previous generation. And overall efficiency, power efficiency, if I talk about, it's 12% better. So if I need to, draw parallels, when you buy a vehicle or in a car, when you increase the horsepower of a car, right, have a higher engine, your mileage goes down. But in this case, we have increased the performance in CPU, GPU. At the same time, your power efficiency is better. So mileage is also better in terms, right? And then they have packed up with 7000 mAh battery for a long, for any user to use for a long day. So I think it's an overall best combo in this price segment. As Savio mentioned, as far as AI is concerned, a lot of features he talked about are powered by generative AI, on-device AI. So for the very first time, we have brought down, generative AI on 600 tiers. Earlier, it was obviously available on premium tier and 700 tier. So we are bringing premium features to mass tier as well.
Great. Anshuman, I'm going to let you have the last word here. So OPPO has a long-standing relationship with Flipkart in India. So can you tell us about that partnership and what the roadmap is for the K series?
OPPO K series has been doing really well of late. In the last few quarters, we've seen the OPPO K12X cross the 2 million mark. We've also seen OPPO K12X as one of the top selling shipped 5G smartphones as per IDC report in the Q1 of 2025. And Flipkart has a significant role to play in its growth. With Flipkart, we share values with them, which is based on consumer centricity, innovation, and scale. With Flipkart, they're not just partners for us; they are co-creators of the brand for us. They give us a lot of insights on consumers. With OPPO K series, we've been able to we're gonna focus on overpowered performance orientation in its segment. And Flipkart is going to be a very important partner in driving the growth.
Cool. All right, thanks guys. I think that's a wrap from our side. Thanks Savio, Saurabh and Anshuman for your inputs. I think as far as I am concerned, for me, the OPPO K13 is definitely a standout device in its price segment. Based on the USPs, the real world benefits that Savio spoke about, the performance capabilities that Saurabh spoke about, and knowing that through Flipkart this device can actually reach the farthest corners of our country. For me, taking these sort of experiences to the masses, I think is very, very important, because it's devices like this that actually make a lot of difference, right? We are talking about an affordable price point, but we are also talking about some real capabilities like AMOLED display, like the 7000 mAh battery with fast charging, like performance capabilities that can drive gaming and AI and whatnot. So I think from that perspective, the K13 definitely stands out. Thanks for watching.